Standing here, Keith Kelsen, author of the Fifth Screen Content Strategies for Digital Signage. Great to talk with you again. As you remember, you probably saw our interview with Keith before when we were at the Digital Signage Expo. He kind of elaborated on some of the ideas of continuity in content as well as the different types of screens. He wants to elaborate a little bit on the idea because obviously Fifth Screen, his company as well, so it's something that he's talked about and an idea that he's posed many times, but it's kind of changing a little bit. So Keith, thank you so much for joining us again. Could you elaborate on what that change is and kind of where you see this stuff going?
Yeah, so when you look at the continuity, which we talked a little bit about how that runs across the networks, you also have continuity of screens, right? So we have the silver screen, screen number one, television, PC, mobile, and then digital signage, 5 screens. Right. So really the thinking today, because that technology between mobile and digital signage and PC and social, and am I watching TV, am I watching a PC, what am I watching here anymore? So even though there's 5 screens, it's really about one screen, one world. Okay. And what I mean by that is that it's not that the screens are all the same, because you're definitely in a different mindset for each one of those screens. I mean, when I pull out my pocket screen, that is a different mindset than when I'm sitting home watching television or my PC, right? But the media behind there, the media that lurks behind the screens, that complete digital stream of content needs to be addressed on how do you make that what I call a transmedia experience. Okay. So that transmedia experience is something where I have a story and it goes across all those screens with continuity, but I have to prepare the content in such a way that makes it easy to do. Okay. So when I create that content needs to be created in such a way where it's very modular and very granular. So for instance, let's say we're shooting this interview and, well, great, it's one shot. Maybe you want to do a bunch of cutaways on my suit and then you want to sell that, etc. Those kind of things can all be done at once. You do it in a high definition, high level resolution, etc. And then you can parse that out in granular ways where then as the author of my mobile screen, I can then pull that content off a database and create my messaging experience. So it's taking and looking at this big picture of media and how that applies to digital signage and the other screens.
Do you think that having that approach to the content across the multiple screens and the multiple media will eventually make the scalability of digital out-of-home and digital signage specifically easier?
Well, you have traditional media creating traditional content, a lot of it. And as those silos within agencies are broken down, where instead of I have print, I have television, I have media buying is one thing, but on the creative side, I have these silos. Those silos and those assets are really at the core problem of having a transmedia experience, because I have this whole pathway to purchase. And every agency, believe me, today is thinking about how do I get all this pathway filled, but they're still creating one-offs. They're still in silos. If I'm a brand, I have an agency doing print, I have an agency doing online, I have an agency doing television, I have an agency doing mobile. So when it comes to digital signage, it's part of this entire landscape, but we still have to create media that really is transportable and easy to manage across any screen. Right. So if I'm the author for a digital signage network, I can go into the database, pull those elements out, create my digital signage experience, because that's the mindset that I'm creating for, and I have something that has continuity with all the other screens in the digital landscape.
Okay, Keith, this is a really, really unique idea, and I think hopefully we'll be able to expand on this a little bit further. Thank you so much for enlightening us. Great to stop by and see you.
Good.